No, you're good now.
Awesome. Well, hello, good morning, good night, everybody. I am Taylor with another episode of Taylor Said It. Today I have Pastor Sherry here to help me out with Mental Health Awareness Pastor Edition. So before I begin, tell us who you are.
Well, I am Pastor Robin Sherry from Revelation Christian Church. Thank you for having me on the show. We have done some work before with the community, so I truly appreciate what you and your husband is doing in the community.
Oh, no. Awesome. So, what got you into the field of being a pastor?
Oh wow. Well, I grew up in a church. I grew up in a church where my father was a pastor, and I was always there with him, the youth and Sunday school at a young age, like 18. But there's something that I've noticed at a young age, even at 6 years old, every time my father had to go preach, I went with him. Even when we were in Haiti, I used to go with him. For some reason, I had a love for it. But when I got older, I just didn't want to be part of it because I saw what my father went through. I saw how he was treated. I saw how they took care of him. And I'm like, that's not what the Bible is calling for. I saw people did not believe in certain things in the Bible. I said, I don't want to be part of this. So I said, God, what should I do? And I left. I left the Haitian church for 8 years. I was somewhere else. And then God called me one Sunday morning. I was crying. He's like, it's time to go back. I'm like, I'm not going back there. He says, I'll go with you. So that's the only reason why I said yes to the calling. And it's just been a wait, but I would not do nothing else right now. This is what I'm called to do, and I am happy to do it, even though there are some challenges that comes with it. But it's truly a calling that God has placed upon my heart for our community.
And how do you feel about mental illness in a pastor's standpoint?
You mean from what happened now, or just in general?
In general, because for us, I know like in church and mental illness is kind of like, no, just pray about it. So from a pastor standpoint, hearing mental illness, how do you feel about that? Or what is your objective on it?
Well, let me ask you this question: when people go to church and the doctor says you have cancer, they pray about it, but they still go for treatment. When somebody's getting married, they pray over your marriage, but you still go to counseling.
Mhm.
So if you are dealing with some mental issues, when you're dealing with your feelings and emotions, you're dealing with your trauma, you need some guidance. It's not just praying. Some pastors are not equipped for trauma. Some pastors are not equipped for mental health, giving you steps on how to go through this and that. For example, let's say somebody went through a divorce. Just praying for them is not enough. You need to give them some steps on how to handle what this gonna do to you mentally, physically, spiritually. Actually, right now I am in my doctorate degree for I can help people mentally, not just spiritually. But I am coming from a spiritual standpoint. I truly believe in mental health. I truly believe in it. If that's what you are asking me.
I am. And you said you're in your doctor's for that. So, which means not only I
Yes.
can come to you as a pastor, but I can also come to you as a doctor to say, hey, I'm having little issues. You can give me both standpoints. If that's what I'm hearing.
Though I'm in it. I'm in the program.
Good. Do you preach about mental illness awareness?
Yes, I do.
So you
Yes,
do
I do. I
have
preach
to.
about it all the time. You could ask my members if you're going through this, I will pray for you. Yeah, I will pray for you. And then there are certain things that you're going through that I would ask you to go see someone, a specialist to help you process what you're going through. Because there are some things that are clinical.
Yes.
There are some things that are clinical, and you need. I mean, it's common sense to me. You know, if something is happening to you and you ask me to pray for you, but I notice that you need to see a doctor, I'm going to refer you to go see a doctor. Because God is the one that gives the doctors the gift to do what they do. Hello, somebody.
Right. That's true. Because a lot of
So
people
I preach
feel,
about it all the time.
yes, a lot of people feel the church don't touch or preach about mental awareness enough. Because of course, they say so many churches in every corner. Why so many things are happening? At least for me, I know some of the churches, well, all the churches I've been through, I never heard a pastor or anyone, a guest, stand on the pulpit and actually speak about mental illness.
Well, the thing is, most pastors, like I said, are not equipped to handle it. So if they're not equipped to handle something, they're going to say, then we should not do it. So if you're not equipped to handle it, you should find someone on your staff or someone at your church or someone you could relate to help them. Let me give a best example. If somebody comes to my office and said, I have some immigration issues and I need you to pray for me so God can move, I'm going to pray for them. After I pray for them, I'm going to refer them to immigration lawyers to help them to process what they are going through. The thing is, people, church folks assume that if they go to a mental health, if they get anything mental, they thinking that they're not believing, that their lack of faith. That's not what this is. The Bible says that faith without work is dead. So if I want to grow a field of corn and I just have faith, I'm not growing anything.
It's true. No work is done.
If I have faith that I want to be a nurse, I still have to go to school. So it comes with it. You have to have a balance with it.
And what are your personal daily mental health exercise? Something you do on a daily to say, okay, I want to keep my mind at peace.
Well, first of all, I'm going to pray because God is my source. That's number one. I'm not going to substitute anything else. I'm going to pray daily, and I'm going to worship. I'm going to read. Now, the thing that I just developed, I'm going to journal. I'm going to write on a journal what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and help me to process and then actually pray over it and leave it into God's hand. And then what I started doing, and that's why I asked you when you say about mental health, is it before COVID or after COVID? Because before COVID, every pastor was going through mental issues. Every pastor is going through tough times. Did you know that the insurance company, many of them will charge pastors double for insurance, for life insurance?
Oh, wow.
Because they know that anytime, any day, they can have a stroke or heart attack or different things because they're putting so much on themselves. So what I had to learn, even during COVID, I was doing so much. When COVID happened and church shut down, I was doing so much to make sure that the people was connected, getting food, driving to their home and giving them what they needed. And then I had my own family, and then my business went down because there's nothing is going on.
Right.
It really weighed on me. And then God says, what are you doing? And then I took a sabbatical. Yes, we need to say that again. Pastors, you need to take some time off. The people are going to be all right. Okay? People are going to be all right because you're not okay. I call what I say, break the day, go outside and play with my son, go outside and play with my daughter. And I made a kite. I flew a kite here and there. You had to, go ride my bike. You had to, decompress and do something off. People think that because you're a pastor, you're not a human. And then they elevate the man of God to that level. So now he walks around thinking, I don't need help. I don't need break. No, yes, you do. You need help. You need break. You need to go somewhere, go to a vacation spot, you and your wife. You need it. So those are some of the things that I did to help me. And one of the things that I did also, I talk. I have someone that I could talk to. Many times in the pastoral field, you don't have a lot of friends because there is so much competition.
Right.
People think you are competing with them. I don't understand. We work for the same boss. We work for the same kingdom. So many of them don't have a lot of friends, so you don't have nobody to talk to. You can't be real with someone. One of the worst things that a human being can have is not able to be real with anybody. They have to always be, praise the Lord, God's gonna bless you. They can't just be real. That just make me like, you need to be real with certain people and get stuff out. So that's some of the things that I did.
Awesome. What is your worldly view on mental health? Because I know we prayed and you send them back, but from a human standpoint and everything that you see going on in the world. What is your views on
I truly believe that COVID-19, social injustice, quarantine, lockdown, everything that happened since March, there is another way, and it's not about COVID, but it's about mental. The reason why the country was so hurried, trying to hurry to get things back to open, was because people were dying mentally.
that? Yeah.
We were created to be socially. We were created to touch. We were created to be in an environment of other people. And now you're telling us we can't
Do it.
do that. Many people cannot handle that. A part of us as been in communicating, all of that will help us to process that we are going through. I think you were frozen.
Right. And again, excuse any stagger or frozenness. Again, with the virus and
Yes,
everything, we have to zoom it electronics. So excuse if anything is frozen.
It's okay.
I have a couple of your books. I not do with COVID. I have two of them, really, really good books, but I know you've been working on some more. So I would love for the people to know, besides a great pastor, you're an author. So what do you have for us that we can get? Yes. Like I said, I have two of them. I have the ebook, and then I have the one for my husband, but I know there's been more projects or books you've been working on.
Yes, lately the one we've been working on is the COVID-19 student and teacher journal. So there's a 3 version of that one, and I'll show it on the screen. What God really showed me is that the kids and the teachers are going through so much pressure, to go back to school, so much pressure to teach online at home while they still have their own kids. The kids, do you know what goes on in their mind being home for all this time and not be able to go to school, not be able to have a regular graduation? Many of them then go to prom. Many of them are just stuck at home playing video games. And many of them, you would assume that being home is the safe place, but it's not. So many of the kids are gonna go back to school with all of this inside of them. So what we did was we developed a COVID-19 journal for teachers. This one has 190 questions in it about COVID, about quarantine, about home, about school, and the most important one, about social injustice. Because we want the teachers to be whole in their mind so they can help the students. So this will help them to ask questions about COVID-19 and social injustice. So this is the teacher version. We have the middle school and high school and version, and we also have the elementary version. So I don't know if you could see all 3.
I've seen all 3. Mm-hmm.
And then we just released the COVID-19 Life Diary. Now this one is not out yet. It just came off the press 2 days ago. Yes, you get a special piece. So this is for you and anybody who wants to write about what they're going through. This is the Life Diary for COVID. And there is a special one. And you know what? You guys are so dear to me. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna ask my daughter to bring it to me because I know you guys will benefit from this one. And Ryan, bring me your book they made. So as you can see, I was in my office. I was making all these books, right? I was making all of this journals for teachers, journals for everybody.
Right.
No, well, this is what helps me. Writing helps me to process what I'm going through. So my daughter came into the office and she said, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm creating journals for students and teachers and pastors to help them to process whatever they're going through COVID and social injustice." And then she said, "Well, Daddy, I don't write, I draw."
Oh,
So can we make one for they would like to a place where they can draw their thoughts about what they've been going through. So my daughter and I created the COVID-19 art edition.
wow. And that's great for everybody.
So
The elementary, everybody.
everybody. So as you can see, she's drawing in it, and then her face have a face mask. This is our house. What she's doing is she's processing
What's
what
going
she's feeling, what she's going through art.
on? I love
So yes, so we were able to create five journals when it comes to helping students, teachers, and whoever else. Other working on it, which is the pastor version. And I'm telling you, when I come out with that one, everybody gonna get that one because it's like a self counseling. They don't have to go and sit at somebody's desk. They could just process it
on your own.
themselves with other pastors.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So where can we find you? Where did you say you, how do we get those books? How can we get in contact with you?
You could go to www.principlelife.org. www.principlelife.org. Principle PRINCIPLE.org. And if you want my Christian books, you can go to robinscherry.com.
And do you offer outside, like besides your members, like let's say someone see this and say, well, I would really love to talk to him. Do you offer outside people assistance or counseling?
Yes, we do. Good. Yes, we do. Now, during COVID, I've counseled more people outside of my church than the people inside of my church.
Yeah, you got to be safe. That's why we're doing it through this way. But I really, really enjoy you, Pastor Rock, Pastor Cherry. It's always a pleasure. I love talking to you. Of course, I follow you on Facebook. I don't know if you want to know your Facebook, but I do follow. It's always a joy to find.
Robin Cherry.
I love it. So I will
definitely. Thank you so much for
I was going to switch it a little bit because next one I do have one called a Strong Mind Pastor Edition. But I'm strongly on this mental health because again, the Haitian I'm Haitian, so from the Haitian community to the Americans to the Black folks, we don't really believe, or we kind of throw it under the rug with mental illness. I'll tell my mama something's wrong, she tell me I got gas. So it's always something that the mental illness with me for sure, I know wasn't really something real. It was always, oh, you're just going through it, or you're too young to stress, or go pray about it. So with being Haitian American, I get it from the Black and the Haitian side. It's like, no, nothing's wrong with you. You're okay. And I'm noticing more people our color are snapping and they're doing things that we call crazy. But I think if we had a step before crazy, or people come to say, listen, I feel ill, and they actually take us serious, it'll be great.
Yes, to say something, on the 6th month after March, April, May, June, July, in August, I crashed. I was worn out. I couldn't do anything. And I asked my wife, what is going on? She said, you burned out.
Yeah.
You're doing too much and you're not taking care of yourself. So I took some time off, just enjoying life. And I think I want to say this to pastors many times. You think that because you are a pastor, and if you take some time off, people are going to look at you as you're not capable. You're not good enough. No, it's okay. That's part of your package. Every year, you need to take two months off out of the year where you just do nothing. You don't church. There's nothing. People don't. You need to be all right up here. And like I said, a daily habits, praying, worshiping, writing in your journal. And even if you have to see somebody to talk to about what you're going through, so they can help you to process some of these things, that's all you can be. That's very good. I applaud you for being bold to stand up and say, we need this in our community. And you could ask them, I'll stand up in the pulpit and tell them, you need help, you need to say something.
And if you can leave us with one thing, if they don't care about nothing else, we stay here.
Trying to help. Hello? Yeah, I didn't hear that question. I'm sorry.
was going in and out. That's why I froze too. If you can leave us with anything else, if nobody pays us no mind, what is one gem you'll leave us to say? Out of all of this, I want us to.
I want us to be healthy mentally. Mentally, you have to be healthy in your mind. You have to be healthy in your heart. You have to be healthy with self. And yes, God is here. Yes, prayer is here. Yes, worship is here. But the same way you pray about your headache, but you still take the Tylenol. I believe, everybody knows me. I believe in miracles, signs, and wonders. I believe in these things. I would pray something off of you. However, there are some times you need some guidance into what you're going through. So not be ashamed. Your mental health, your body, your mind is the most important thing. Not your title, not what you are called to do. Because if you're not healthy with you can't do what you were called to do. So do not be ashamed if you're going through something. And look at the research, look at the data. Right now, mental health is on top of the roof.
Yes.
On top of the roof. I present this curriculum. Did you know what they say to me? They see gold because they're like, they have never seen anything like it.
No.
Now we have questions for students. We have questions for the teachers. And these questions also target social injustice. Everything in one journal. So we just keep me in prayer because it's in the process now of being approved. So everybody know when once it's approved, we just going.
Get it through. So I pray it gets inside the school systems because we need it. I work with youth and they do need it. And with being kids, a lot of them always tell me, oh, my parents say nothing's wrong with me. So at least if they have this journal and this book, they can write it out and they can kind of self-aware themselves, I guess. So at least they can write and say, look, because it's not like when we see it on paper, then it becomes real life. Just talking is something, but when mom find a journal and read it, it's like, oh my goodness. She's writing about it, he's writing about it, so it becomes real life. So I really hope it hits the school system because they need it.
You just hit it. You just hit it on a nail. When kids write and the caregiver look at what they are writing, then you know that it is real what they are going through. I my daughter's art book all the time. I want to see what she's drawing because what she's doing is she's expressing herself.
Yes.
So thank you. Thankful for it.
Thank you, Pastor. So I appreciate you. And you always do a wonderful job. So keep it up. I admire the work you do in the community. You're not afraid to get out these four walls. That's what I think I kind of drawn to you a lot. I not hate, but I don't like when pastors just kind of stay in their church just for their members and hey, we're dying out here too. So I love that you always in the community. Fortunately, COVID stopped us, but not really because we got your books. So I enjoy it.
Thank you so much for your support.
My pleasure. You have a wonderful night.
Okay, you too.